This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, my husband Troy and I are discussing the top 5 money issues that can break a marriage. Today, we're talking about priority differences between spouses. Now, sometimes it can be about money personalities. You hear, one person's a saver, one spouse is a spender, and they're going to naturally have different priorities if that's the case. But priorities can be different even if both couples have similar money personalities. So it's not just about spending versus saving. It could be, one spouse really likes to travel and the other spouse thinks that's a frivolous waste of money. You could have differences in priorities when it comes to housing, like where are we going to live? How much are we going to spend on a house? How do we consider the maintenance costs and what we're going to spend on housing in general? You might have different ideas about school choices for your kids, when it comes to sending them to college, or even in our situation where kids are in elementary school. Are we going to send them to public school or are we going to send them to private school? Maybe buying a new car, your views on that, how much you spend on Christmas. That can often be a source of conflict. So the problem here when you don't have similar priorities and you can't get on the same page with your priorities is that you have no shared vision of where you're going together. And so it might feel like you're kind of spinning in circles and you're not really making any progress. And maybe neither spouse is getting what they want. I think in our own marriage, I would say one of the things that sticks out most to me about where our priorities differ is travel, because I would travel quite a bit more than what we actually do. That's what I would want to do, but we don't. And there's financial reasons for that because there are other things we need to spend money on. But it's also a preferences and priority things. Like anytime we travel, you're like, no, I don't, you would not travel at all if I didn't force you to, basically. Is that an accurate statement?
Mostly accurate.
Yeah.
There are still things that I would like to do occasionally. Now, traveling with the children is a different story.
Yeah, no, not interested. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it costs a lot of money, especially if you're flying somewhere, to pay for 6 plane tickets and the hotel and the car. But yeah, so how do you view travel? Do you view it mostly as a frivolous waste of money and money that could be used better elsewhere?
I generally view it as that. I still understand the other side of the coin and value set there and why that is important. So I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, it's stupid and don't do it. But I just feel like, it's a large expense. And unless every other area of your life is, where you want it and you have the things you need, for instance, what's a large expense a lot of people have, like remodeling something in their house or repairing, getting something the way they like it in their house. So that costs a lot of money, right? Well, what also costs a lot of money? A vacation. What does that vacation get me? There's memories and 10 days of fun. What does that money get me on the other side? Oh, 20 years of enjoyment at my house? Okay.
Right. I think another area where you and I differ is cars. Left to my own devices without a Troy around, I'd probably still be driving the car I had in college. That's not entirely accurate because I'm sort of limited in car choices because I have 4 kids who need to go in the back seat. So I basically need a minivan or a very large SUV. But I have almost no interest in cars. And that's the opposite of you. How do you view cars and how much you want to allocate towards spending towards cars? In a perfect world, what percentage of your income annually would you want to spend on cars?
If I didn't have to worry about saving.
Right. You had no other limiting factors. Every other box has been checked. What percentage of your income would you devote towards buying a car, maintaining a car, racing cars?
After my basic bills were paid, as much as absolutely possible. All of it.
Yeah. See, so that's how different we are.
Yeah.
I don't even think about cars. How many times a day do you think pops into your head where you just think about either one of your cars or a car you like or a car you want?
Even, A few years ago, it could be 20 times a day. Honestly, though, at this point in my life, it's just a handful.
Mm.
And I would also point out that once you've gotten what you want or what you've
The
had as your
noise.
goal for a long time, it's like a lot of things you realize it's like, oh, it's cool, but life goes on. And so,
Well, yeah, they say that about a lot of things. Like, you get something that maybe you've been striving for and working for years. And then when you finally get it, it doesn't make you as happy as you thought it would. And it's sort of a letdown. You're like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Here's this car. I have this car that I've been pining for a couple of decades, and I have it now. And yeah, it's nice.
that's exactly it. And I've talked with, other car guys and guys younger than me who, they really are looking at what you have and like, oh, that's my dream, man, and all that. And I really very much try to make it clear to him that it's like, don't kill yourself trying to get this and don't make it be all you think about it. Like it can be useful to make you potentially work hard, but it's overrated.
Another one, did I mention this already? How much you spend on like Christmas presents and birthdays? I mean, there's so many differences where spouses can have different priorities. Like I said, there's no shared vision. Your long term goals can get derailed because you can never kind of get on the same train moving together. But I think the solution here is to discuss and agree on priorities together. Part of that is that neither spouse fully gets what they want. Like, you don't have the cars in your garage that you want, and I don't have the vacations in my memory bank that I want. But I still get to go on vacation, and I'm not like dissatisfied. It's just more important, I think, and it matters more in the relationship to have your financial priorities be together. And there may be conflict there, but once you do have a similar set of priorities and you know how you're going to allocate the limited resources of your money that you have, then you can make better decisions because you know what your priorities are as a couple. Like if that's saving for retirement before we take a $10,000 vacation to Hawaii, like I think you and I would both agree that saving for retirement and checking that box first is more important than the Hawaii vacation.
Yeah, it will serve you better.
Yeah. And so I think even though I may have travel priorities that you don't, we don't have a lot of conflict in this area because if we were to both rank our priorities and what we want and how we want to allocate our money most, there's a few areas like cars and travel, but like some of the bigger areas like saving for retirement, housing, those types of decisions, where we send our kids to school. I mean, we're paying for private school because that's very important to both of us, not just me or, we've never even, that was never even like a discussion point. It was like, yeah, we're doing this. Anyways, I think creating that long-term shared vision about where we want to end up as a couple and what it's going to take to get there really helps with getting those priorities on the same page. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.